This is the Rank 5 Tigra Showcase video. The first fight that we have is ROL Winter Soldier. I do have a dead Nick Fury, a white Magneto, and a Mr. Fantastic. Every single one of the videos in this video, or I guess every single fight, is going to be unboosted with no suicides. But there will be some synergies which I will be sure to point out for you. Here we go. He drops a little heavy finally. Took a little bit. Then a special one. I heavy counter that with one light. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two, depending on where he is. I have enough power where I can get one heavy in. Drop an L2. Now if you could throw this, I can heavy counter this into L2 and he'll be almost dead, if not dead. Heavy counter. Another heavy, so an L2 should likely finish the job. And it looks like it will not, so I drop an L1. And yeah, that is Winter Soldier dead with Rank 5 Tigra in 42 seconds, unboosted, no suicide. Next up, we have ROL Wolverine, and this is with same team. Did I put on the Petrify? I'm not sure if I did. In some fights, I specifically chose not to put on the Petrify. I did put it on, but it's literally not going to matter at all. So yeah, just check this out. Do a heavy counter, another heavy counter. And the L1 is sometimes finicky, like if I'm not ready for it, it's not really worth going for. Like off a special 2, I don't generally go for it. But here I drop my special 2, and you can see he gets absolutely chunked. He's down almost into Assassin's range at this point. The Ruptures chip into Assassin's range. I do a heavy counter off the L1, a little bit shaky there. Drop my L1 of my own, and that is an exactly 30-second ROL Wolverine kill with Tigra. Next we have LOL Old Man Logan, which is also a pretty standard fight. A lot of these were taken on the very first try because I frankly did not want to keep on going through quests. I have a lot of bosses in here. I'm not going to go through a quest over and over again. So I'd say maybe 2-3 videos were not on first try. Everything else was just like, I went in on first try. So there are some mistakes, but that's okay because you don't have to play Tigra perfectly in order for her to be a really good champion. So I heavy counter that special one. And then I decided I was just going to go for an L3 just so I could get a little more damage and just kind of for fun. It's arguably not even worth it to throw an L3 in this fight, but for showcase and for fun, I decided it'd be interesting. Alright, if you can only throw a heavy. And then the spacing off this is 2 dashbacks, I believe. There we go. And I can just heavy chain again. I don't think I get an evade this entire fight, which is kind of nice. Drop an L2 of my own. There we go. He throws his L1, and again, I'd rather not punish his L1 off an L2. I'm just a little bit far away. It's really not necessary. Drop an L2 of my own. Could probably drop a light in time if I dash back early and dropped a light, but like, who cares? Not that big of a deal. I can just bait out a heavy like I'm doing, and it works perfectly fine. And here I am in a good spot to punish that L1. Drop another L2, and you can see, like, look at this damage, right? He goes from 44, boom, 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 down to 32, so that's almost 200,000 health in one special 2. There we go. With that counter a little bit, but not a big deal. And now I'm hoping that one last L2 will kill, and it should. He drops that L1, now I can just heavy chain into L2, and we should be good to go. Heavy against the wall, special 2, and that last couple hits of the L2 don't even have to connect. So that is a sub 2 minute, I believe, LOL Old Man Logan kill with Tigra. Now into some content. 6.2.6 champion. God, I wish this fight was still unnerfed because then it would have actually been hard. This fight was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I actually almost laughed. This was crazy. I do have a couple synergies here that are worth noting. I could actually heavy him and remove this because I have the Black Panther synergy, which means that when I have a Rupture, all unstoppable buffs will be nullified. I also have Kitty Pryde. I have Kitty Pryde for every single one of these because it just enables me to be a lot more lenient with being patient. Don't have to worry about my senses because the neutralize is up for a lot longer. But I do have also the Black Panther synergy for unstoppable. Should that arise, I actually don't know that it comes into play at all. Because I do add the synergies for ease a lot of these fights, but I don't often use them. So here it says unblockable lights, so I'd rather just heavy counter this into an L2 and see what happens. And what happens is he goes from 57 down to 18, and then from 18 very much down to 10. So now I just have to get my dexes in. There we go. And need to get one more dex. I think I failed this a couple times. A little bit early. There we go. I should have just thrown my L3 for power, and I made a mistake, and that does make this fight a little bit longer than it needs to be, but this is more of a showcase than like a strict nuke. Just that again, like a beast. Drop my L3. And this L3 actually does not kill. It just doesn't. I wanted to leave it in case it did kill, so I didn't skip, but yeah, it does not kill at all. He's still at 5%, so I can just drop this L1 and it will. So, yeah. Tigra versus the champion, also very, very simple fight, and huge nuke. The next fight that we have is 7.1.2 Venom, and I also have the Jabari Panther synergy for this in case he gets an armor up to start, so I can nullify it, but he doesn't, so we're fine. Fight's over now. It's also Foresight, which I like kind of neglect to use, I believe. So, yeah, I think I get it almost on accident, because I just forgot this fight was Foresight. Yeah, right here. No, not here. The next special, too. It triggers the Fury. I honestly just forgot it was Foresight, because I was just kind of like, it's Tigra. Like, I don't care. So I could have heavy chained off that, but I was choosing to be a little cautious. And watch this here. I drop this L2 with the Fury. And drop an L1, and Venom is done. In a lot of these fights, they don't really throw all that many special attacks, because they just die too fast. So, yeah. The next fight up we have is from Act 7.1.4, and it is going to be the Hela boss. This one is a little bit annoying because her heavy is unstoppable, which makes me kind of sad. Can't heavy punish that, so instead I have to just put her in the corner and it should be fine. So that's the game plan, put her in the corner and then get an L1 out of her and just kind of heavy chain and it should be good. So she won't do it. Do I throw an L1 to get it out of her? Let's see. Nope, there we go. Heavy attack. Another heavy attack, don't get the ruptures there. Drop an L2. And she's under half. She drops an L1, I heavy this. Another heavy. Drop an L2, and Hela is dead, just like that. Full yellow bar. Very, very easy fight. Okay. The next fight that we have is also from the exact same quest. It is the Weapon X boss. This one, again, as I was saying, first try. Almost all these. This is not a good fight. Weapon X is not one that I'm all that good with Tigra. So something does go a little bit wrong here, but she still completely nukes the thing, and this is more of a damage showcase than a skill showcase. We'll put it that way. Here we go. Tap him once. He drops this, so far it's perfect. Yeah. I thought that the unstoppable was done, and I go for an intercept, and it very much was not done. But it is what it is. Bait out that little heavy. Now I can drop an L2. And I can heavy chain off this too, because it gets into the wall. So, there we go. I want to bet an L1. He won't throw it, so now I get it out of him. I can heavy chain. Do another L2. There we go. Now I can just beat this L1 and go again. 2 heavy chains. Oh yeah, I whiffed that. So I drop an L1. Again, not a perfect fight. He will go into Berserk if he gets there. So trying to make sure that my neutralize is as big on him as possible when he goes into Berserk. So as much, pause on my senses as I can, and naturally does not want to play ball. And here I decided to have a little fun, I think, and just go for the straight heavy intercept. He's so aggressive that it's actually generally pretty safe to do that. You can also aggro-cept, but he's actually one of the trickier ones to aggro-cept, so I didn't really feel like potentially messing one up and going through the quest. But yeah, still a superbly easy fight. Not played well, but dead in less than 90 seconds, just like that. So next we have 7.2.1 Magneto. This one is Moth to Flame, and my health bar says that I played damn near perfect, but I do make a mistake here that I thought was actually very, very interesting. So yeah, here we go. I just want to get this out of him really quick, and then we can see what we do. Use the medium counter because he threw it very promptly. It's important to note where and when the defender throws the special so you can know what type of counter you are able to do. Here we go. Just want to get this L2 out of him really quick. If he could throw it. There we go. Okay. Get a really poor counter off of that, and then an actual heavy chain, and we are pretty good to go. Here we go. And that was actually, I did a little pause. That was a missed dex. And because my Huntress sense was up, that's the blue sense, I was actually able to miss it. So pretty cool there. Not what you want to see out of a fight, but it's a pretty cool showcase of very small safety net. It's only 10% chance on projectiles. Next up we have Act 7.2.2, and this is Guardian. And it's also, as you will soon see, Power Shield. And if you've ever used Tigra versus Power Shield, you know that she's a decent option. So I just bait out some heavies. You have to be pretty quick on Guardian's heavy counter, actually. And there we go. Tap him for neutralize, drop this heavy into an L2, and if you will look at his health, it was at pretty much 100%, and now he's at 13 and ticking all the way down to 0. So, just absolutely crazy fight. You don't expect that much damage from one special often, but with Tigra, you can come to expect that. Then we have this path, which is even weirder. This is both Flare and Power Shield, so nice little combo there. This is a man thing, and between Flare, baiting out like heavies and random stuff, and other stuff, you're often going to take some damage here. There we go. I'm trying to get him to throw that L1, but he really won't do it. There we go. Not the spacing that I wanted on it, but he was not very kind with it. There, I can finally get 2. Drop an L2, and look at his health. Just fade away into nothingness. So yeah, he's gone in one special. The next fight that we have is in the same quest. It is 7.2.4 Nova. So, you know, a lot of these are actually in the same quest. So, Nova, there are a couple different ways to heavy counter his stuff. I am comfortable with a couple different ways. So here, just heavy counter that heavy. And I'm a big proponent of doing 2 lights in between his special 1 just for something to do and also to help my timing become a little bit better. So there, because he threw it up into me, I knew I had to do 2 dashbacks and or intercepts, so I just went for the 2 dashbacks. Drop an L2, and he is at 60%. He drops that L1, I do 2 lights, then do a dashback, just kind of, again, for timing. I just prefer it that way. And now I can just bait this out, heavy counter, and drop another L2, and he'll be almost dead, and L1 will probably finish it. Alright, I can just chain some heavies. Do I go for L2 here, actually? I probably didn't have to, but I do. So, yeah, that is Nova. Also dead in well under a minute. Let's see how long that was. 50-second fight. Not that well under a minute, but under a minute. Next up, we have 7.2.5 Dragon Man. This is Stunning Reflection. Pretty standard. I mean, it's Dragon Man. Dragon Man does have a couple different things. You want to do a light on his heavy attack, but if he throws it up into you, you do not. And so you're going to see illustrations of that. Get a little heavy 1 counter, special 1 counter, not heavy 1 counter, that's not a thing. So check this out, there's a double medium, which means I don't have space for a light or I'll get hit. Okay, block this to remove the ineptitude again. And now I can get off my first L2. Dragon Man's a beefy boy and he loves dashing back away from all my specials, so it does very little damage. What a bully. I think he dashes back off 2 of mine. Again, didn't throw any combos before, so he was really close, and so I had to not do a light attack. Here I need to get this L2 out of him and he throws it. Get the dex, and heavy counter that. Probably going to have to throw an L1 in this fight, because this nice boy is kind of being a bully to me. There we go, drop an L1. And again, he might throw this right now, and I don't really want to do a light there. Okay. There I do a light because he did combo into me, he was a little farther back. Now I want to get this L1 out of him, heavy counter into L2. And I'm pretty sure, oh, I didn't have enough power to go into L2. I'm pretty sure he's like dexing this hit too, I want to say. There we go, because, again, too close, drop that, and he just dashes back again like an absolute legend, better at dodging Tigra's L2 than I am. Here we go. Heavy counter this, and I want to say I messed this up here at some point. I think I accidentally parry. Maybe after this L2. So, life flashed before my eyes a little bit there. Yeah, so here we go. Counter this, and I was trying to be a little cheeky and not block for as long as possible, maybe get into dashing to me, I don't know. So I think it's right about here that he, yeah. So that is quite a long stun, and my Tigra is kind of getting chunked down a little bit, but we're alive, which is all that I care about. Get that other sense back up, and that should be enough senses as long as he's nice to me. There we go. An L2 should still finish it, but fun little wrinkle in there for you when you're trying to take down a boss. I drop that light, get perfectly to an L2, drop that, and Dragon Man is dead. A little bit of a longer fight there. Alrighty. The next one that we are going to do is 7.3.1 Red Goblin. And there are a couple ways you can counter Red Goblin specials. He does get an anti-miss, so if that manages to sneak through, you can counter it without actually heavy missing any of his hits, which is really cool. So, check this out real quick. I'm going to demonstrate both. The heavy counter is pretty difficult, actually. But yeah, for the special one, it's pretty easy. Alright, so here's how you do it. First you dash in, and you heavy miss. But if you can't do that, I believe I showcased this one on purpose. Do I do it first? No, I drop L2 first. Okay, now this is what happens if he has the anti-miss up. He throws it, you dash in, and then you can just dash out and still have more than enough room to do heavy counter. So, pretty interesting there. A couple different options. And then here I'm waiting, and I think I just give up and throw L2, yeah. I was going to try to bait that out from him, but he was not going to play ball. He throws this, dash in, heavy counter, and now if I can get one more of those, I can drop an L2 and finish this fight as well. There you go. Red Goblin is down, and I am at 100% off. Pretty simple fight. Definitely one of the easier Tiger fights in the game. Okay, the next fight that we have for y'all is 7.3.2 CGR. This fight kind of annoying, man. It's Rise to Power, and it's also Energize. I was gonna consider putting Mr. Fantastic here to like make it a little bit easier, but I kind of wanted to use her in her pure form, just because I was like, you know, might as well see what happens. So, hit a little combo, and I want to try to get this L1 out of him in a nice fashion, which he does not want to do, and it's kind of hard to counter except if you're against the wall, so it's worth being aware of that. Here we go. And then he taps me twice and gets straight to frickin' L2. So I have to heavy counter that, and I decide just to go for an L3. Whatever, I mean, I'm going to need the ruptures anyway, so. Here's how, I could just heavy counter it again, there's really no danger to it, but Energize, so I just heavy miss it, and then drop my L3, and then now an L2 with like a couple ruptures should theoretically kill. So yeah, Rise to Power is really doing me in, it's giving him so much power. So he throws this, dash in. It's important that you want to be pretty quick on the release of that, or you're going to have a couple issues. There we go. Have enough time for 2 lights, he throws it immediately. Very close timing there. Drop that abbreviated L2. Oh, it doesn't kill, actually. Interesting. This one will, if you can. There we go. So yeah, this specialty will be more than enough to finish the job. Alrighty. And we only have a couple more quest fights for you. But then we have a little bit of Gauntlet and EOP. So this is going to be 7.4.4 Super-Skrull, which is one of Tiger's favorite fights. Absolutely massacres Super-Skrull. And again, my timing was a little bit off here, and I knew it, but I was like, who really cares? And you'll see that when it comes up. So I am going to heavy counter his heavy as soon as I can. If I can just get it out of him, which would be ideal. There we go. Easy heavy counter. Tap him. Again, easy heavy counter. And so my concern here is that if you want the special one, huge lag spike, by the way, that's not you or me, it's the game. Now I want you to look at this timing. When I throw this L2, I know for a fact that it's going to get not glanced, faltered, which is fine. I mean, like, you don't want to do this in war, but, like, whatever, I don't really care. Hits me once, and then I can get my block up. So, I chose to go for it, even though I knew it would get faltered, just because I really didn't care. And I can just heavy counter this, drop my L2. This probably will barely not kill, because Super-Skrull's got a little bit of health, but I can drop my L1, and he will go away. Okay. What else do we have here? We have a 7.4.3 King Groot. Oh, these are a little bit out of order. Well, oopsies. 7.4.3 King Groot. And I have the Jabari synergy, which actually does not come into play at all. I wanted the Jabari synergy because if he was unblockable, I couldn't get an easy opening, and he had a bunch of Furies. I wanted to kind of be able to slowly get power versus having them all, like, expire and or lose, so it was kind of more for power than anything else. But I want to say it doesn't even come into play in this fight at all. Okay. He was being kind of irritating in the beginning, so I just refreshed my senses. He's up against the wall, so now it's go time. Pretty standard. I would like to tap him here. Okay. He's kind of wasting a lot of my senses. That's not nice. Drop an L1. I probably won't even, if he is nice to me, I shouldn't have to drop another L1. I don't remember if I do, though. It looks like I might have to. He drops an L1. I think I'm fine, because then he can drop his L1 again. There we go. I can counter this. I have just not enough power to get to an L2. Drop mine. Oh my god, he's getting chunked. Okay. And then if I can heavy counter this and drop another L2, he is going to go down. So I heavy counter that. Drop an L2. And King Groot is, King Groot's no more. So yeah, he is very dead. Now I have, what fight is this? Again, a little bit out of order, I believe. An 8.1.4 Ebony Maw. This is a fun one. I did put on Mr. Fantastic pre-fights for this, just to kind of keep his power down a little bit, because it is heavy hitter. But what I realized was, oh no, it's not heavy hitter, it's the one with increased heavy damage. I'm not sure which that one is. But what I realized on this heavy attack, because he throws a heavy at some point, is that the unstoppable goes away, which means I can totally heavy counter him. So I utilize that. Knock him down. Wanted to get this L1 out of him. And here's where he throws it. And look, the unstoppable goes away, so I can hit him. Drops that L1. Make sure not to trigger Dex, which I don't. And note that my neutralize shuts off the Fury that he normally gives people. Get another heavy off. Drop an L2. This does pretty solid damage, and then hopefully he can throw this. He throws it. There we go. I'm going to drop another heavy. He throws this, then I can heavy counter this into L2, and if it doesn't kill it, it'll be very, very close to doing so. Yeah, that weakness actually severely mitigates my damage and keeps me from going unblockable. And then I get a heavy out of him, and this is my favorite heavy counter, the one that you dex it and you don't have to do a light. So yeah, just under a minute, 8.1.4. Now we're into Gauntlet and EOP. So I have Gauntlet Doom. I do have Wags on here, which isn't that helpful, it's just for damage, and I have Dead Nick Fury. And I also have, and this is the only one that's really necessary, Mr. Fantastic pre-fights. So I can only do heavies. Everything else will have a chance to get glanced. So I'm just putting him into the corner with heavies and giving him power with heavies. And then after that, you will see that we are pretty much off to the races. So it takes a little bit to throw this L1, just tap him. Drops it. Heavy counter that. And then I can get a little hesitation and do a heavy chain there, and an L2. And some of it is glancing, and I'm kind of getting chunked down, but those that are not being glanced are hitting very, very hard. There we go. Some more heavy counters. Did I do another one? Yep. Into an L2. And yeah, Doom is pretty much a cycle. You just do that, and then you just heavy chain. It's super, super standard. I think I just throw this L2 here. Then I can have this L1 out of him, do some more heavy chains, and we should be pretty much done. So yeah, there we go. There's a heavy, another heavy into L2, and if I had to guess, this is going to more than finish the fight. So yeah, Tigra versus Doom definitely does work. Not the best option for this fight specifically, but an option if you don't have one, or if you just want to have a little bit of fun. And she does it really, really, really fast, too. Another fight that she does quite fast is this fight. This is Tigra versus the Terrax that's right after him. I do have a Wags on just for damage, and again, dead Nick Fury, but I'm still not boosted or have suicides or anything. This is a really easy aggrocept, so you just dexterity his dash attack, charge heavy, and quickly release, and he will throw a light attack into you, which will give you free ruptures and a free opening. So I drop this L2, and look at him chunk down. Like, he's at 2/3 health already. Kind of whiff that heavy a little bit. Then I can get another heavy into L2. Drop that, and another L2 should kill. So yeah, I'm almost back up to another L2. One more heavy should do it. There we go. Drop my L2. And Tigra, after absorbing man, is probably the second fastest for this. This is a sub 40-second kill. So very, very, very solid option there. The last gauntlet fight that we have for you is a really sloppy M.O.D.O.K fight. And if you didn't believe me that I did all these on my first try, or almost all of them, and didn't restart, here's your proof. Because, oh, Lord knows I did not play this fight good. But it still worked out. So yeah, just learning how to not lose your cool with Tigra and how to play without really getting touched at all is a huge skill that you should learn with Tigra if you don't know how. Here we go. Get incinerated and an 11k heavy to the face, and then whiff a heavy. And I think that's most of my mistakes. I hope that's most of my mistakes. That's a mistake right there. Kind of. I should have just thrown it. But yeah, this is definitely not a clean fight. But honestly, that almost shows to showcase how good she is a little bit better even, because I'm not playing this fight great. I'm not heavy countering everything because I'm low and I'm scared, to be frank. And it's still working. So here we go. He's going to have to throw that L2, which is actually pretty easy to heavy counter. And I will show you how to do that shortly if you would only throw it dash back light. And I quickly release that heavy attack. And we are pretty much good to go. Want to re-up my senses if I can. Hopefully that goes in to throw a special attack too. It very much does not, but it was worth the try. A little bit far away there. So yeah, definitely, if y'all want to see it, I can go back and do a cleaner M.O.D.O.K kill, because this is kind of nasty looking, and it's kind of embarrassing. So if you want to see a better EOP M.O.D.O.K kill, I can go get that for you. This is not a good one by any means. Maybe I can bring in some fun synergies too. But yeah, not a good fight. I'm not even waiting for the ruptures on my heavies. I'm just kind of playing a little bit flustered here. But even still, it's definitely working. Like, he's still losing health, but I also just haven't had great luck on his specials. There, he throws it really nice. Get a little bit lucky there. Yeah, this is not a perfect fight by any means. Then I can drop this L2, and this is my first L2 in quite a while. What in the hell am I doing? I'm baiting this out first because I want to build a heavy chain. Okay, that actually makes sense. Drop this L2. Now I can heavy chain off this. And the L2s are doing roughly twice as much damage as the L1s, which is to say that I probably shouldn't even be throwing them. Because, I mean, that's how math works. But I drop this L2 anyway, and this probably won't kill, but an L1 afterwards likely will. So, here we go. L2 into L1. And a really, really, really badly played M.O.D.O.K solo with rank 5 Tigra. Then I believe we are going to head into EOP with Bishop. So we can do this. And Bishop is pretty easy with Tigra. This is a big-ass Bishop, so you have to kind of hope that he doesn't throw specials into you. There's a lot more room for error, but pretty standard. You generally want to intercept because while you can wait for his heavy most of the time, there are instances in which you can't, but you can intercept all the time. So it kind of just takes the judgment calls out of it. Just heavy intercept and be done with it. You don't have to care where he is on the map. You don't have to care where you are on the map. You can just heavy counter him, and it'll work every time. So I intercept the heavy almost every single time unless I am certain that I can wait and there's a good reason not to. Unless there's not a good reason to wait, I'm not going to wait. There's just no need. So here I drop an L1 because of Hurt Locker. Okay. There we go. I definitely could have waited on that one, and I was a little bit far away, so I considered it, but I didn't. Alright, now I just want to get this out of him. That's where I wait, because I was far away. And I want to get this out of him, heavy counter it into an L2, which is exactly what I do. That L2 does solid damage, not perfect, but solid. And again, I can just drop this L1 straight away, pretty much. And now I should probably combo him here. I don't know if yeah, I want to combo him to L2 just because I'd rather him not hit me in the face. I need to get my ruptures up. I really don't have that many. So if I can at least get like 6 or 9 up, that would be really nice. Okay. Casual 3. Fair enough. I messed up that heavy chain off the wall, or it would have been a lot better. But yeah, Tigra she's just such a good champion. She's so fun to play. Here I can get that special 1. He can throw his L2, and now it's my turn to throw an L2, which is a lot more satisfying than that L1. That L1's kind of boring. I'm watching that meltdown timer, but I'm just going to take it. I don't really care. There I wait because, again, I'm a little bit far away, and I can heavy counter. Again, I'm a little far away. That one was bad. I can heavy counter this into an L2 of my own, and Bishop should theoretically die from this, hopefully. Yeah. So, that is EOP Bishop, and we only have, I want to say, one more fight for this whole showcase. So this is probably the hardest one that I did. EOP Havok. Dude's an asshole, just simply put. But yeah, this is definitely one of the harder Tigra fights, but it's also a really fun one because it requires both AI manipulation and also really savvy play, because the better you can play in this fight, the more margin for error you're going to get, and you need it versus Havok, especially Havok of this size. Drop heavy counter into an L2. Perfect. Now I want to, if I can, heavy counter this L2. Okay. I just need to tap him. Please throw your special, dude. Because you have to balance senses and special, because I really don't want to have to throw an L3. There we go. Got a really quick heavy counter, and I bounce off. I've talked about it in my guide about bouncing off. So I went a little bit too fast. So from that, I know that I need to kind of slow down a little bit. And I can drop this L1 for my senses and to push him to L2. So perfect little storm there. There we go. So I wait a little bit longer and I get 2 hits in this time, which is a lot better than 1 hit. And there I just charge my heavy for no apparent reason. I think I also get hit in this fight, actually. So yeah, definitely not a perfect fight. Here we go, and I want to get this L2 because I'll get pushed to L3 otherwise. He's going to be a tiny bit high power, but as long as he is willing to throw it, it should not be an issue. As long as he's not willing to throw it. Come on, burning all of my senses. So I tap him for my senses and pray that he throws it, and he does. Get a perfect heavy counter off that L2. He threw that right exactly when I wanted him to. And this is going to be kind of a sketchy L2 as well. I need him to throw it quickly. So hopefully he can throw this quickly, and we will see if we can get a heavy counter off. Drop a little light to get a little closer because I had time. Little sketchy. Heavy, and I have to throw it quickly because he's about to get a bar of power. Shouldn't have even gone for heavy there, and I get hit and punished. So that was my mistake in the fight, and then I want to make sure he doesn't throw that L2. That'll be majorly no bueno. Heavy counter this, and I can heavy counter his L2 into my own, and it should be fine. And that, again, a light. That was not good. Holy Christ. I probably will die from detonation, so I should be aware of that. My senses do fall off, and so I heavy counter and chain into an L1, and then I want to bait out a heavy counter his L2, and then slowly work my way up to my L2. So I heavy counter this, beautiful little heavy counter there, heavy chain into my own L2, and that is EOP Havok soloed by rank 5 6-star Tigra. So that concludes my showcase. I hope you can see that she has an amazing amount of utility and a really, really large amount of damage as well. I'm super, super happy I got the Mystic Gem, and she probably won't have much use in Battlegrounds, being permanently on the ban list, but I'm super happy to have her, use her in Warren content, and I hope this has potentially opened your eyes to how good Tigra is, especially as a rank 5 6-star champion.